Welcome to Rauta's triple review. This time is a little bit different than your usual reviews because most of the time I review one album at a time or go for underground trio with 3 different bands and all. This time it's not a dual review, it's not any of those which I mentioned, but 3 7-inch EPs from one and the same band. Well, technically speaking, not exactly, because these are splits or collaborations. So once again, very unique concept in that sense. Also because of that, I will also give you a little bit of background information before we get to the actual unboxing slash review phase. So here we are with Thesyre from Canada, Quebec area, and everybody by now probably, anyway, watching the channel, knows what Quebecois black metal, or what it's called, Metal Noir Quebecois is all about. A lot of people know it's for its very melodic, kind of a unique feeling, very French-like but still unique style of black metal. And lots of those bands are really good coming from Quebec. Now, Thesyre is a little bit different. It's often labeled here as, for its Metal Archive site, for example, as black thrash. I would challenge that a little bit, even though there are thrashier parts in Thesyre's music. I've been a fan of the band since the very first album, early 2000s. But yeah, I wouldn't really call it black thrash. I mean, I get it why people might be thinking like that, but that's kind of a revisionist take in my opinion. I mean, think about the early Bathory and all, and it's really easy to call them nowadays black thrash, where it's in fact just first wave of black metal. Now, obviously, because of its age, Thesyre isn't really the first wave of black metal, but I could say it has at least half a foot inside that territory. So stepping out of line of your typical second wave black metal thing, and definitely not being anything like modern black metal. So there is certain kind of a thrashiness present, but even more so I would call it closer to kind of a black and roll without too much, having the good rock and roll moments. So kind of old school black metal with modern sound and a little bit punkish. I can think of like hardcore punk attitude. One of a kind band for me, really, and I think it's often overlooked when we're talking about Canadian black metal. So like I said, I'm a fan, and because of my fandom, I think sometimes things happen to good people. I like to think myself as a good people here. Joking around. I'm saying this maybe because my videos, the man behind Thesyre, also known Eric Syre, not his real surname by the way, sent me once upon a time a few 7-inch releases, which I think he sent me more like a gift, not for so much a review, so I didn't, I wasn't busy with them, hasty and all that stuff. I just let them have them in my box, but every now and then I go whatever it's in my list and in my review boxes and decided, it's now to talk about Thesyre. I've been previously featured some of the full albums on Thesyre's list on the channel, more so of Resistance and Shift, the latest ones. But like I said, personally found the band with the debut album, and then Thesyre Duality Exist and all that stuff was something that I listened early on, because obviously before Rauta I was already doing reviews, and as such I got in contact with a lot of interesting bands back in the days already. Now wasn't in contact with the band obviously, but from labels and all. Now this is a kind of a weird long introduction to everything what I'm talking about here today. So this band started in late 90s, so older band, but let's be honest about it, nothing really happened until early 2000s. And that's when Thesyre started doing their music for real, releasing music and all. And if you take a look at the Eric Syre's bands, I mean, he has a big list of bands he have been taking part of, including, I guess, most known for Akitsa, but also I remember when he was doing vocals for Pohjast, an international lineup featuring people from Estonia, Finland and beyond. Even actually my old band member was playing in that. That was really cool one. And Beast Within, something that didn't release much music but is cool. So man of many soups, so to say. Weird metaphor, I know. But yeah, I've been liking Thesyre's music ever since the early on, and indeed that's the reason why we're doing this video. So this is the background information just to understand what this band is all about. Never too active with the albums, but I mean there are 5 full albums during the past 20 years or so. But there was this gap from 2019 to 2020. But then again, you can figure it out. The band was more or less hiatus and made a comeback. So all these three 7-inch ones I have here are more of the split or collaborative nature. So let's tune them, and I'll show you them, not in any particular order. I will just show them to you in an order I was actually listening to them before making this video. So first one is a split with a Thesyre from Canada, obviously, the enemy abroad. By the way, cool take on the photo where you just put your, I don't know, knife or dagger through an apple. Here instead, a planet Earth. And then Audiopain, a cult act from Norway, Horns Forward. Audiopain is more black trash music, really, kind of reminding me of Or Noir with its take. And for some reason, I never got to like really dig deep into the world of the music. But this track here, both have only one track on the 7-inch, which is kind of a typical thing. They are doing good job. There's a good proper energy. And while Thesyre is flirting with the trashier stuff, with their rock and rollist, black metal, old school or whatnot, these bands fit together well. It's hard to even go and decide which track is better because they're a little bit different, but at the same time really fitting for one another. Too bad Audiopain is never has been too active, so there is not too much happening here. Comes with a sticker, by the way, and this is a good way to start to know some bands. I mean, if you get to reach one of these kind of 7-inches, I mean, why not? Two good tracks of kind of underground spirit and aggression in one 7-inch EP. I will soon, after this video, later on mention why I like which one more and also. Then there's a Macabre, Omen and Thesyre split, and this is curious case because this is actually Battery Tribute cover song 7-inch EP. Both bands doing one cover, and they are doing Viking metal Battery, not the black metal Battery you might expect. Macabre Omen from Greece is of course somewhat known act. Not exactly among the biggest from Greece, but yes, a cult act that has gotten some following, well-deserved such, over the years. And they are here doing wonderful cover of an older Battery song. And the same thing can be said about Thesyre. Sorry, this way. This is 3 years standing proud in Valhalla, so kind of a tribute to Gore who died unfortunately 2004. This is very, very fitting. Just coincidental though, in terms because I'm at the moment reading Battery or Gorthon biography. So here you have To Enter Your Mountain and Home of Once Brave. Home of Once Brave is actually my all-time favorite Battery song. It's kind of a funny because, I mean, a lot of people would probably guess it must have been some song from those black metal albums and so on. Not so much Viking metal albums, but those who have been following the channel obviously know that Hammerhard and Twilight of the Gods are my favorite Battery albums, even though I like all of them except for Requiem and Octagon. They're a different breed anyway. So this limited copy features one track by both bands. They are both better in terms of vocals, doing whatever Gorton did with Battery. Don't get me wrong, I do like how Gorton does his vocals, but he's not like the best heavy metal vocalist out there ever. Anyhow, this being said, these cover songs are fantastic interpretations of what Battery did back in the days. Hard to beat the original one, but they both do really well, a good job. In my opinion, however, Macabre Omen is a little bit better here because I like the vocals even more. But then again, Thesyre has the better song, so hard to say which one is my favorite. And those two being splits, this one with Akitsa, where it's Eric Syre played with some point. It's actually collaboration, not a typical split, which is here said. This 7-inch is a collaboration between two bands, not just a regular split release. Fuck off and die here mentioned. So 4 tracks, side Contre, side Courant, 2 tracks per side. And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, this is only on 33 rounds, whereas those are 45ers. So there's that. First I was spinning this with 45 and felt out, why on earth there are these tonal duck vocals, and then realized I was spinning it way too fast, where in fact those are the 45ers. So here it is, typical 7-inch release. And this is the most black metallic of all these. I mean, it's partially because Akitsa's style of black metal is very crude, grim, simple, kind of a, well, primitive black metal to begin with. And as such, doing this with Thesyre makes a lot of sense. But it's also a little bit different than the ones on here. Now, that being said, while I do like primitive and raw black metal, this one is the least favorite of mine. The songs are actually quite good and all, and the production is very fitting and all, and raw vocals and stuff, but like I said, you have to pick your favorites, and sometimes it's not easy. So this is my least favorite of this 7-inch pile. Definitely good if you like kind of a mid-tempo, rawish black metal to begin with. Then, this one with Audiopain goes in the middle. This one is somewhat better, partially because of Audiopain, but I just like the songwriting even more than with the Akitsa collaboration. And then best of the pile is this. This is kind of unfair because these are cover songs, but this just shows why or how or because I love Bathory so much. So this is the best of the pile. Now these are all good releases. If you like Thesyre's music, there's no reason to skip this one unless they are not available, which might be the case, given that they are all a little bit older. Like you probably saw when I showed you this first page. 3 years starting proud in Valhalla 2007, Horns Forward, the enemy I brought with the Audiopain 2007. So they're quite old, and even older is this Contre-courant from 2005, 19 years ago. So these might not be available anymore. I do not know. I was just happy to get these as gifts. So thank you to Mr. Thesyre who sent these. Now, more so matters for me anyway, always, whatever the full albums are. Like, I think Mick Ospa from Northern Heritage last Clandestine Blaze One Upon a Time wrote, it's easier to write a decent demo than a good album. Or, like, if you use the same words, it's harder to write a decent album than good demo because, you know, it's easier to come up with a couple of good songs versus, I don't know, 8 to 10 songs. So, I would still say, even if these are cult items and worth listening to, if you really want to get into the world of Thesyre properly, go for the full albums. And in my opinion, you should start from the beginning. But either way, all good. So Thesyre is still holding its flag high, being one of the best bands from Canada, if you ask me. This being said, off you go. Get yourself acquainted with the music. Links are provided in the description box. Now off you go and let me know what is your favorite Thesyre release. Looking forward to your answer. See you. Bye-bye.